3 months ago we drove from Melbourne all the way to Sydney to buy a non-running Toyota Celica GT4, armed with nothing but a gets and a few tools. We managed to find out that the fuel pump wasn't priming or sending fuel to the engine, so we did what every Facebook marketplace enthusiast does, and pulled out the spare fuel pump we had in the boot. And after wiring it up, we finally got the car running again. And just as we were leaving the property, we found out that
The clutch master might be cooked.
yeah, the clutch didn't work. So instead of paying $5K for a tow truck, we did what any reasonable mature adult would do and drove all the way home with no clutch. But now, the GT4 is finally home. So we took a deeper look at the car and noticed that the rear diff bushings were fried. Not just fried, completely cooked. So today, we thought what better way to spend the next 48 hours than dropping the entire rear subframe and replacing them ourselves.
So you looking forward to doing the rear diff bushings?
Yeah. Are you looking forward to doing the rear subframe?
I'm looking forward to it. No, I'm not looking forward to doing it.
And just as we were about to take the wheels off to drop the subframe, we realised we didn't know where the lock nut socket was. In fact, we might have lost it, so we'll have to drop the whole rear subframe with the wheels and the lower control arms still on. And you might be asking, why doesn't everyone do this if it's possible? And that's because, honestly, it's just a little harder, it's awkward under the car, and you gotta use leverage to find a way to push the bushings in from under the car. So yeah, let's get into it.
Drop it on the ground.
Oh, you said.
And after unbolting the bolts that hold in the rear subframe, we ran into obstacle number 1. We didn't know how to take these bushings off. They were like suction cupped on, and they needed some sort of press to push them out. So we began by lowering the jacks to lower the subframe to get some sort of leverage. To be honest, we had no idea what to do at this point in time. We were just experimenting.
It is moving.
I think that's not even attached.
Oh, yeah. The bottom we should just be able to like allow. I think we need to try and twist it.
And after trying to twist it out, we still couldn't get it out. So we knew we needed some sort of press. So we had to lower the subframe in order to put something above the bushing to push it out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just held up by a couple bolts. Oh yeah, this one's out.
And as you can see here, we successfully detached the bolt that comes from the chassis from the subframe. But the left side was still far off, so we kept pushing it down. Eventually, after many tries, we finally got to a point where we could take the top half of the bushing out. But we still had our initial problem that we couldn't get the bottom bushing out without some sort of press. So we ended up trying this.
Screwdriver in the top of the bushing and then jacking the subframe up, and it'll knock the bushing out.
What?
And then we found that the screwdriver wasn't long enough, so we tried this.
So we're putting this onto the bolt, and then we're jacking the car up, and then it knocks it down.
And the reason we put a nut on the very end is just so we don't ruin the threads when we jack it up.
Like, just go slowly,
And then we just found out that the bolt went further into the body of the car. It was held up by some sort of spring. We don't actually know why. So we grabbed a piece of wood that was much longer and put it against the bushing and the body of the car and then jacked it up. And this is how it went.
It's looking good. Big!
As you see, this bushing's a little damaged, but it's not too bad. So we chucked it on the other side and took the other one out the exact same way.
Now we're doing the other side.
Oh, perfect!
And we ended up repeating this method for pretty much all the subframe bushings.
Oh yeah!
Yeah, that one looks perfect.
And then we took the diff bushings off camera, and we didn't record it because they came out so easily, and you'll see why.
Side by side of what it's meant to look like and what it currently looks like.
Wow, that's the bad one, and it's meant to look like this. So it's completely lost absolutely everything. You can imagine that knocking while we're driving.
And then we began taking the rear diff mount off.
Oh, did it fall off?
3 hours later.
And this is why we needed to take it off. There was
A little bit of residue. How are we gonna get? I don't know how we're gonna get that bushing in.
and you see here, there's actually leftover bushing still in the mount. So there was no way we'd be able to put a new bushing in with all this crap in it. So we took the mount off, and here's how it went.
It's got the consistency of Play-Doh and craft glue.
Is that so you don't get copyrighted?
And we were still struggling to get it out. And then my brother came up with this strategy, which was low-key OP tech. And now that that was finally clean, it was time to lube up the new bushings and push them in to our best of our ability.
It's got the press in his hands.
And we pressed the rear diff bushings into the mount. And this is what I meant before when I said it's a lot easier to do outside of the car. You can just press it in with a tool, and it goes in super easily. There's no stuffing around. And just like that, we had the bushings in, and they were ready to go back in the car.
Goes on off.
Oh yeah, man.
Don't get down.
And then we put the rest of the rear subframe bushings in by putting a piece of wood on a jack and then jacking it up.
That's how you know the bushing's in. Oh my goodness, not even in.
And that one broke, so we used the proper wood trick, which worked like a charm.
Perfect.
Just like that, it's in. Hey, wooden block has come in handy multiple times this adventure.
Last bushing and then we're finally done.
Where's the fourth one? One more? Dude, smell my fingers.
And now it's currently all on. All the bushings are on. Everything needs to be tightened. So we're just gonna go buy some spanners and we're gonna wash our hands because hands are dirty. We're gonna show you the hidden tag. Maybe not the hidden tag. And now we literally just gotta tighten everything back up and it's ready to go. Samuel is
What?
hey, someone has to record the intro. Outro.
I'll take the other one.
Well, this one's actually hella loose. Oh my bad!
I can smell fuel. I can't see it there.
I could smell fuel, but I couldn't see it in the engine bay, so we checked the rear fuel tank, and the fuel return line was sure leaking. So we tightened it up and checked if it was leaking again.
Yeah, not leaking.
Does it turn on? Let's hope it turns on.
Did you plug the fuel pump in? Oh, nah. Oh, don't do this. What do you like to hear?
And then we got the exact same issue as last episode, but if we put a little bit of gas on the throttle, it would stool out like this. So we started messing around with the fuel tables to see if it was a fuel enrichment issue. We honestly have no idea. If anyone knows, please let us know. And then we took it for a drive.
These tricks suck.
The difference in knocking though.
That was bad. Might need to tighten them up.
Yeah, thank you guys for sticking all the way to the end. Again, quite literally. The GT4 finally has new rear subframe bushings, which it definitely needed. Still has a slight knock in the rear, definitely not nearly as bad. We don't know where that's from. We're hoping it's not from the actual diff itself. We didn't torque the diff bolts, so maybe they're loose. We don't actually know. We'll torque those up and hopefully the noise goes away, because if not, I don't know. I don't want to drop the diff. Sometimes you gotta do what you don't want to do. But yeah, the GT4 still has that weird stuttering issue when we go on gas and it stools out. We actually have no idea what's going on with that. We might give it to a tuner. We ordered a new wideband sensor. Maybe it's a wideband issue. We have no idea what's going on. To be honest, I'm just yapping. I have no clue. But yeah, the GT4 is running a lot better. It's getting one step closer to going back on the Australian roads and yeah, rallying it eventually. I'm hoping by the end of the year we can rally it, but it takes a while. The GT4 in a nutshell. The turbo sounds freaking insane. I freaking love that sound.